So Cenk's line up until this point has been, no, it's at the collegiate level and above. I think once you get to the college level and above, that's when it's bad. So he would be on board with what the NCAA said recently. But you're so dumb. You're so dumb. I don't even know how to explain this to you anymore. Unless, this is the other option, unless you also are a transphobe. You know what I'm saying? Unless you also are kind of a misogynist. Unless you also are like, yeah, man, men just kind of like can rock on women. You know what I'm saying? Like they strong and like Messi would score 20,000 points. Like this makes no sense. No one is giving you props. No one is giving. This is the same person when you go and fucking share a stage with Dr. fucking Phil. What did it get you? Nothing. You know why? Because you look like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? You look like a bitch. That's what it is. Like, that's just what it comes down to. You don't look like a fighter. You don't look smart. You look like a bitch.
A few moments later.
Recently, Francesca Fiorentini asked us at TYT to take her podcast, Habituation Room, off the network. And we happily agreed to that. And today, I'm going a little further, and I'm going to take Francesca off the network entirely. So you won't see her on any of the TYT shows going forward.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about some drama in progressive world, right? In Looney Tunes world, there's some drama. And I think this story right here is a perfect summary of the fate of the Democrat Party, right? This is the fate of the Democrat Party in a nutshell, right? This story, which is the inevitable breakup of people who are somewhat sane, right? Or still mainly like 75% insane versus people who are 100% insane, okay? And the 100% insane and the 75% insane are not compatible, right? Because on the left, you have to agree 100% with the 100% insane people, or else you're far right, okay? You are conservative, according to these leftists like Francesca Fiorentini, who just got fired from TYT by Cenk Uygur, okay? And I personally think that this should have happened a long time ago, right? But it's happening now, okay? And I want to talk about it because, again, I think this story is a great example of the fate of the Democrat Party, what's going to happen, because they're not going to be able to finesse this political revolution that is happening in the Democrat Party. The rise of the Blue Tea Party, I think, is going to lead to situations like this, right? So with that being said, what happened? Okay, Cenk announced, I am no longer allowed to appear on the damage report with John based on disagreements with TYT's main host. And yes, calling Cenk a bitch for engaging with Dr. Phil, a guy who's joining ICE raids on innocent people. It's been a good over 10-year run at TYT, but indeed it's time for both of us to move on. There's too much at stake. There are still many good people at TYT. Sadly, they're not in charge. And fewer women, people of color, and trans people. Smell you later. Okay, yeah. So what we have here is Francesca Fiorentini, okay, being fired by Cenk. Okay, and I want to go over some of the reasons why this is happening, okay? Because, again, my theory is that for similar reasons why Cenk fired Francesca Fiorentini, right, that this can't work, okay, is the same reason why the Democrats are not going to be able to survive their current political civil war, okay? But let's start with the first issue, right, that caused cracks in the armor, which is the fact that Cenk is not woke enough when it comes to the issue of trans athletes in sports.
First, let's watch this.
I'm a big Messi fan, so, but let me just explain this.
Answer my question. Would you allow him, if he said I'm a woman, to play in the American women's national team?
You're using the wrong pronoun
yes, right now. Hell yeah, are you kidding me?
Transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports.
Your argument is really bad on this, and you're out of your depth. You're correct that trans women should be able to compete in women's sports, but your argument for it is just scientifically and factually incorrect. I'm actually not bad about this. I'm 100% right on this. I don't give a the scientific explanations. People, if they identify as a woman, get to compete in sports. If that's not fair in the short term for a variety of little competitions, I don't give a
And I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything.
Because the societal interest of including trans people in society trumps stupid competition. Full stop. So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
You'd let Lionel Messi play in the women's national football team and destroy
Hell yeah,
women's football
welcome.
forever. You'd let Usain
it'd be
Bolt.
very difficult
Hang on,
to get a ticket,
hang on.
which would suck.
I want to do a little checklist here. You'd let Usain Bolt compete as a sprinter in the American women's Olympic team.
Yes.
Okay. You would
Yes.
let Floyd Mayweather compete as a boxer in the women's American boxing
Yeah.
team.
Opposing them in women's sports. You get 67% of Democrats, so 2/3 there. You get 64% of independents, so you get about 2/3 there.
So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
Okay, generally speaking, if you want to say that you're right about something, sure, everybody has their own opinions and it's their opinions. That's why they think that they're right. It's another thing to say that you speak for the left. As you just saw there, 67% of Democrats have a position that is actually to the right of mine. I say that trans girls should be allowed to play in girls' sports in high school. 67% of Democrats say no, not allowed in any women's sports.
Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You have Cenk here who is taking a position that is a leftist position, okay? Most of his own party disagrees with him on this issue, but he's not as far left on the issue as the far left, okay? And the far left is saying that he is right-wing, right? That he is a bad person, he's a bigot, he's a transphobe, because he's not far left enough, even though he is far left on that issue, right? Again, fascinating. This is, again, why the fate of the Democrat Party is not looking good, right? It is not looking good, okay? The fact that Democrats can't get past that issue, a very basic issue, I'm just saying, this is, it's just not going to be good for the Democrats, right? This is not going to work out well for them, okay? So you know what happens when far leftists get upset and they can't win any real argument, right? So what they start to do is that they don't focus on the issues anymore. They don't talk about substance. They start attacking you, right? They start levying personal attacks at you. And in the case of somebody like Francesca Fiorentini, she's a host for a TYT show, right? She is Cenk's employee. And for whatever reason, she thought it would be a good idea to move away from the disagreements, right? The political disagreements to personal attacks because Cenk politically disagrees with her.
I like that we can both be very Mediterranean about it and get like super mad, but then rein it in and be cool and then be like, we're like, yeah, we're just gonna yell and then we're gonna be fine and then we're gonna get over it. So that's the kind of beer I like to have.
Yes. Thank you.
2 days later.
I mean, I have my own thoughts on like why he's doing it. I think, if you think your brain was broken by the 2024 election, I think we're looking at a case where someone's brain was broken even harder. I do think it's sad that even though they allow people like us into the fold and the fray, they refuse to learn from us or listen to us. And I think that when you have been doing this work for so long and you still cannot grasp the idea of intersectionality, how race and gender and class all intertwine with one another, and how the right, the fascist goal is to divide us based on these lines. Like, I don't know like who you are. Like I don't even know if you're smart. You know what I mean? I don't even know. First of all, I don't know who your political mentors are. I don't know who you look up to. I don't know what your touchstones are. I don't know if you know your history in terms of like civil rights, women's rights, gay rights struggle in this country. I don't know anything. I call into question all of that. It sounds like you are just an opportunistic mouthpiece who wants clicks time and time again.
Okay, so obviously it's getting deeply personal there. Opportunistic mouthpiece, can't grasp simple concepts, not smart. But guys, and I'm not angry. Look, people have different opinions and they want to make it personal. It is what it is, right? I'm more sad about it. I'll say something at the end about that. But to me, the attitude that is toxic, and that's what I don't want at TYT. I want to build a community that is really open to conversations, is they refuse to learn from us. So the idea is, well, obviously I'm right and the only moral center of the universe, and I already told him that, and this guy wouldn't even learn from me. It's just such a deeply arrogant thought that if someone disagrees with you, they need to be re-educated, and maybe they haven't read any books at all. Okay, did she stop there? Of course not.
And yes, as I told Cenk, I do feel very implicated. I have felt implicated by their takes, specifically around crime and policing in years past. Definitely by this new heel turn since Trump's reelection, and absolutely by the misrepresentation of the Los Angeles fires and who the responsibility lies on. It is enraging, to say the least.
The Los Angeles fires are not the responsibility of the mayor. They're apparently the responsibility of Republicans. Or I don't know. I don't know what her thought on that is, and I don't know why she's enraged by that, but that's okay. Apparently I've taken a heel turn.
Again, this is what happens when you get in bed with the far left, okay? I try to warn people, man. When it comes to hiring people, okay, I used to talk about this all the time with these leftists that work at these places, and they end up being agents of chaos because they want to put their politics ahead of their jobs, right? This is what they do. I don't understand why any business owner at this point, why are you hiring these leftists, right? Somebody that is openly and proudly a leftist is a liability, okay? Because every single time they're going to put their politics over their job, right? In this case right here, you have Francesca Fiorentini putting her personal beef with Cenk because they have a disagreement in politics. That really is not even that much of a disagreement. Let's be real. They're like 90% on the same page. But because they're not 100% on the same page, she started attacking this man personally. I mean, just trashing the network. Trashing network. Basically accusing the man of being a paid shill, right? Of being compromised. Being in bed with fascism. This is your employer. This is your employer. But hey, that's how these leftists operate. Eventually, people go learn. You don't want to do business with leftists. So again, this brings me to the last clip. Right? The most hilarious clip, to be honest with you, is Francesca Fiorentini calling Cenk a bitch. I think this is where he drew the line.
All these days, but good news, no longer implicated. Believe it or not, she did not stop there. This is now another show. Watch.
So Cenk's line up until this point has been, no, it's at the collegiate level and above. I think once you get to the college level and above, that's when it's bad. So he would be on board with what the NCAA said recently. But you're so dumb. You're so dumb. I don't even know how to explain it to you anymore. Unless
low-key, I gotta admit, her baby voice might be better than mine. It might be better than mine. I'm just saying, I gotta give her credit. Her baby voice, I think, is pretty good.
Unless this is the other option, unless you also are a transphobe. You know what I'm saying? Unless you also are kind of a misogynist.
Because if you disagree with Francesca or anyone on that part of the spectrum, well, you must be a misogynist. You must be collaborating with the fascists, and obviously you must be unintelligent. Now,
I love it. I love it. I love watching the left implode. I love watching them eat themselves. This is the best reality television show, right? It really is on YouTube, okay? On cable news, the Democrat Party. The best soap opera on news, right? On cable news. The Democrats. Again, this is an extension of that, guys. This is what we're witnessing. This is what we're witnessing.
if I had called her dumb, I wonder what her reaction would have been. My guess is nuclear. But
she would have called you a sexist, okay, a misogynist, a bigot. She would have called you a bigot, right? That's exactly what she would have did.
Didn't call her that because we have a disagreement. We have a political disagreement. You don't need to make it personal. Not done yet. One last one.
What has it got you? What did it get you when you go and share a stage with Dr. Phil? What did it get you? Nothing. You know why? Because you look like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? You look like a bitch. That's what it is. Like, that's just what it comes down to. You don't look like a fighter. You don't look smart. You look like a bitch. That's just the reality. I've tried to tell it to you nicely. I've tried to tell it to you cordially. I've tried to tell it to you on your show, on my show, on every show. And so either you A, are a bitch, or
Wow.
B, you actually agree with the right. And I'm starting to think, in fact, I do think it's the latter.
Okay. So again, if I had called her that would have been a different situation, right? But look, guys, also on the policy or the strategy, when you go talk to the right wingers, first we did that, and I mainly did that, and there was a lot of blowback saying don't ever talk to the right wing. But they won the popular vote. How are we going to win back the voters if we never talk to them? If we don't win them back, we can't ever win an election. And that doesn't mean the far end of MAGA. It means the independents that voted for Trump and maybe some right-wing populists that voted for Trump. Now I've noticed that faction is now saying, well, I mean, of course we should talk to the right, but we should only yell at them or we should only accost them. That seems like a really productive conversation. And now I guarantee you they'll say, no, I don't mean just yell at them, but just like build coalitions. As Francesca said recently, apparently she's changed her mind about being a collaborator, but not with Trump voters. Well, who would it be if it wasn't Trump voters? Those are the folks on the edge of the middle of the spectrum that we got to bring to our side.
They don't think that. They think that they have a significant majority in this country and that they're just not voting enough. That's what they think, right? They really do believe that if they got all their progressive policies passed, that this country would never vote Republican again. That's what these people believe. So they don't think they need to actually reach out to Republicans or people that disagree with them. But again, Cenk, who is 75% insane, right? He is the 75% insane. He's trying to use the 25% of his saneness, okay, to convince somebody who, again, is 100% insane to be reasonable, right? And it's like, you can't reason with unreasonable people. That's what you don't understand. These people are unreasonable, okay? So by definition, you can't reason with them. They're not reasonable people, right? Look at the things they believe in. Look at the policies they support. So, Cenk is a nicer guy than me, right? He's a way nicer guy than me because I would not have waited this long after my employee called me a bitch on camera, on a channel that I believe TYT was connected to, right? Like it was a part of their network. So your own network's channel, she's calling the boss, okay, the boss, a bitch. At every respectable company in America, an employee who publicly calls her boss a bitch will be fired on the spot. Fired on the spot. The fact that she lasted this long means that, Cenk, you're too nice of a guy, man. You're too nice. But I hope you learn your lesson. I hope you learn your lesson about getting in bed with these people. It will always backfire every single time, just like it's backfiring on the Democrat Party. And here's the thing. I think the establishment Democrats are more conservative than Cenk, right? In the sense that they're more to the right than Cenk, okay? They're still far left, don't get me wrong, okay? But they're not as far left as Cenk and the far left, right? The socialists and communists, which I mean, Cenk is basically almost there. If this is happening to Cenk, can you imagine what's going to happen to the Democrats if they try to be moderate, right? If they try to be moderate, what do you think is going to happen to the Democrats if this is what's happening to Cenk? You see all them Looney Tunes? They've waged a political war against TYT, right? I mean, they're dragging TYT every single day. They're trying to bring this channel down, okay? And a lot of these people worked for TYT. Cenk was in bed with them. And then they've turned on him and they're trying to destroy his business. It's crazy. It really is. But again, this is why I say you don't get in bed with extremists. Because the pendulum will swing the other way. One day they're on your side. But when they turn against you, okay, you're going to feel their wrath. And you're not gonna like it, and it's gonna be worse because they're gonna direct more anger at you because you were on their side. They see you as a traitor, right? So now they're gonna go harder after TYT than they're gonna go after Trump or MAGA because they see TYT as a traitor network, and they can't stand traitors, right? The left, they cannot stand traitors. So I hope Cenk learned his lesson. Again, he's a better man than me. Actually, I shouldn't frame it like that. He's a more tolerant man than me because, again, if I had an employee that called me a bitch publicly, even if it were privately, oh, they're fired on the spot. They're gone. The fact that she lasted this long, again, I think it says a lot about Cenk, and it's not necessarily good. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.